So, David, what did he actually say about us?
Just like slagging you off. And I went, you're Swindon, not little slugs with no personality, and just jealous that we're better at everything than you.
Hello and welcome to the Big Bang Theory podcast. My name's John. I'm here with my friend and colleague Dan.
Hello.
Back from the county ground, Dan.
Yep.
Where top of the table clash went not our way.
No. Well, it definitely didn't. It's not entirely unpredictable.
No.
I was saying all week that we were going to get battered. Well, not all week, but when we heard the news that Doyle was back.
Yeah. You kept saying it.
We're going to get battered. We didn't get battered.
But we did lose. 2-1 away to Swindon.
Yeah.
Swindon stinks.
Yes.
And what a place it is. Full of wind and gas.
And that big roundabout thing. That
yeah.
weird roundabout.
I don't know what that was.
It says something, doesn't it, when like that's basically the main thing that they've got in the town. Like, we've got this magic roundabout.
It'd be like saying, but also magic is pushing it. So it would be like saying, what's in your town? Oh, we got this really superb dump.
Yeah.
It's lovely. It's not like any other dump you've seen before.
Although I do like a trip to the dump.
Yeah, but not as like highlight of the town. People don't come to Exeter and say, what's it got there? Oh, you know, Roman walls, Norman Cathedral, river, also an incinerator that turns waste to energy. People aren't talking about that.
No, they're not, no.
All right. Anyway, that was Swindon. City came away 2-1 losers. It was tough at times, wasn't it?
It was tough most of the time.
We were battling good team, good players, high wins.
Now, Swindon
Yes.
have deliberately built their stadium in a position to channel the wind
Yep.
in order to win football matches. And I, for one, think they should be banned from all football from henceforth.
I think it's a sneaky trick.
Yeah, how dare they?
How dare they? It was a blustery day.
Yeah, that's not what they've done. But it did play a part, didn't it? Especially early on.
It did.
A few things going against us. I mean, it's never good to have to change your keeper before the kick-off, is it? As much as, like, I don't have a problem, and we said last week about how I actually sort of prefer Ward back in there, but it's not that's not the way you want it to happen, is it?
No. Maxted went off. He was there warming up, wasn't he? And then he didn't start the game.
No, he's done his side in.
Side strain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Too many of those
Disconcertingly vague, isn't it?
Too many of those lunges over the top. You know, like when you get your arm and you swing it over the top of
Yeah,
your
well,
head.
I suggest too many sort of Hollywood dives.
Do you think so? Do you think, you know when someone tells a really good joke and they're like, oh, my sides are splitting? Do you think it was just kind of a lackluster joke?
Yeah, or maybe someone made him
Side strain.
laugh so hard that he got injured.
Yeah?
Don't know who that would be. Apparently not Ryan Bowman, according to Nicky Law's Q&A video.
Oh, what? Is Bowman not a funny man?
That's what they say, he's not funny, yeah.
He's not funny. Imagine that. What's Ryan Bowman like? Well, he's not funny.
It's literally that explicit.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Do you think that means he is funny and they're just having a joke?
No, I don't think so.
He doesn't seem that funny.
No, I'm sure he's got lots of lovely characteristics. So, yeah, that didn't help. Maxted out, Ward in.
Yeah, with about 10 minutes to go.
Straight away, it was, almost kind of comedy football, wasn't it? Where you're kind of kicking the ball into the wind and it blows back almost like over your head.
I mean, I've played in amateur football matches and basically those things have happened. And Ward kicked it out, didn't he, at one point, and it came back for a throw-in, kind of in line with the 18-yard box.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Yeah, and he actually kind of got a few. He sort of works out a way to do this quite good sort of like low drop kick that was sort of working, but it was more. The trouble came less from our kicking it into the wind and more from Swindon playing into the wind.
Yes. Playing with the wind, you mean?
With the wind. Yeah. So and we looked all over the place, didn't we, to begin with?
Yep, we did.
And they've got some really. Immediately, you can just see why they're up there, can't you? Because they're so quick in areas and technical and dangerous. And I think probably that's what teams think of us when they come and play us at St James's Park. And I mean, not all teams, but maybe smaller clubs or teams further down the table. Like, I know we've had a lot of people saying how well we've played after beating them this season. So, yeah,
I mean, Swindon looked very good, didn't they?
It did.
And they should, from what I've seen there, given that Argyle are probably their nearest rivals and we beat them 4-0 and they're a bit inconsistent still, you'd imagine Swindon are going to go up at top, wouldn't you say?
yeah. I mean, if they don't go up in the automatics now, I'll be very surprised. Someone have to go very badly wrong. Of course, the main bit of news leading up to this game that hadn't happened last time we recorded
Yeah.
was they now have Owen Doyle back.
Yeah, and the other matey. And they bought a replacement for Doyle and he's still there.
Yeah, and he scored.
Yeah.
So
what
so
do you
they're
do with
now
that?
and so it was always going to be they had this kind of like boost of getting their little ginger Pele back. So they were it was always going to go that way, wasn't it? Really, and that was why also, if anything, the scoreline didn't even quite reflect the performance. Although we did get better in the second half.
Indeed we did. So Swindon went 1-0 up from a wind-assisted goal.
Well, corner, wasn't it? Yeah.
Corner, yeah, which then, Doyle's been credited with it.
Yeah.
You and I are very doubtful.
Well, from what I can work out, the only thing is maybe it might skim off his head before it gets to Lewis Ward, because it looked like at the time, and it looked like initially on the video that Ward just kind of tries to punch it out. It hits one of our players and goes back in, possibly Collins. I'm not sure, but
Okay.
that's what it looked like to me. Anyway, it's gone down as a Doyle goal. I think that's a little bit of just like kind of narrative-driven bias.
Maybe. But it was a funny old thing, I don't know who's to blame, as it were. Like, the wind was ridiculous. Maybe no one's to blame. Maybe it was just one of those things.
Possibly Ward could have done better.
Possibly could, but we don't know what it was like. And, of course, the sun was ridiculous as well. It wasn't just the wind we were battling against.
Yeah, sunny.
So that was 1-0 down. And I feared the worst.
Yeah, absolutely. It looked like they were really going to take that and get a few more straight away, didn't it? They were just straight back at us.
Yeah.
But that wasn't to be.
No, so then we pushed forward for the next 15. We defended a bit better. Ward worked out his kicking a bit better against the wind. And then Williams has, very good scoring opportunity, which he created himself.
Yeah, he basically made that whole thing happen, didn't he?
So the ball dropped in front of a defender on the edge of the box. Williams gets his foot in. Another defender hesitates.
Yeah. You'd be disappointed, wouldn't you? If that was us, I'd be disappointed those defenders don't just... Because they've got the opportunity there to clear or just,
At least get their body in the way.
Yeah. But he nicks in and it's actually a really nice finish in the corner. And then the highlight of the day, definitely, was Randell Williams doing the backflip right in front of like the main sort of singing section of Swindon fans, which I thought was just the best thing ever.
Yeah, the brass balls of it, basically. But yeah, good one.
Loved it. He was actually the kind of, obviously the standout player for us, wasn't he? I think he's picked up a fair bit of praise from Swindon fans as well off the back of that, because...
What, backflip or goal or both?
Well, I don't think, probably not the backflip, but just his performance and he's not going to be here with us forever. If we don't go up this season, he's gone.
I would say so, yeah. Yeah, very good.
And even if we do go up, there's a possibility. Because, he's so dangerous.
He's got these backflips. And he's got kind of a variety of backflips.
Yeah. Well, he's got at least 2.
Okay. When are we going to see... everyone's done a backflip now. I could pull one out if I wanted. I couldn't. But when are we going to see, some head spinning? Or,
Well, don't know. That's a slightly different discipline. That you're talking about breakdancing. His is clearly from a gymnastics background. Do you know what? Once they had a bouncy castle around the back of what used to be Sports Direct, which is now Comptoir, the restaurant.
Yeah,
Comptoir,
they had a bouncy castle
in the Guildhall, just on a Saturday. It was just there for the day. In that little square back of Marks and Spencer's.
Yeah.
And I was probably too old to be going on the bouncy castle anyway, but me and some mates did. And I was like, I'm just going to do a backflip. And when you're a kid and you try and do sort of that kind of thing, into the swimming pool, Evan, you always end up twisting.
Yeah.
Because your body naturally wants to see where it's going. I was like, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go straight over the back. I'm just going to do this backflip in this bouncy castle. Did it.
Yeah.
But kneed myself right in the nose.
Was that your last backflip?
That was the last time I tried a backflip, yeah.
It's probably for the best. Blood everywhere?
Nah. No, it didn't bleed, luckily. But,
Oh, well, there you go. So Randall Williams has obviously, been practicing a lot. I'd like to see a head spin, I gotta be honest. Or, go retro on us and do like the kind of hokey cokey or the...
Yeah. Well, email him or something.
I'd like to.
Why are you telling me?
What's his email address? backflipboy@gmail.com.
Don't know.
Randall does backflips.
Quite possibly. Give it a go.
I will. I'll try that. So that took us to 1-1.
Yeah, and then we had a few minutes then, and we thought if we can get to half time, everyone's optimistic because then we'll be playing with the wind.
Yeah.
And Swindon have to play into the wind.
Yeah.
Like we have and how we struggle with it. And we were very close to getting to that half time whistle, weren't we?
I feel like we just lost concentration. So there was a handball shout, wasn't there, from their players in the build-up to the attack.
Yeah. And it does hit him on the hand.
Does hit him on the hand. I think probably the ref's unlikely to give it because he's bouncing up from the floor, his hand's next to his body.
I ain't got a problem with it, if I'm honest. No. Like, I think if that was in the Premier League, the way they've been using this VAR so far this season, that goal wouldn't have stood. But I hate VAR, and I don't really think it gave him a massive advantage.
No.
Obviously, the ref hasn't given it. What can you do?
I just feel like...
If anything, I don't think the handball even particularly helps him.
No,
it takes it out of the way, and then even after that, he's got time to cross the ball in. No one's rushing out to. Well, they are, but they're not quick enough to pick him up after that.
Yeah.
So we've only got ourselves to blame, and we can't. I don't think it's like. I was more annoyed about the Bowman offside goal last week.
Yes. Okay.
That's a much bigger injustice, if you ask me. Yeah. But we have been a little bit unlucky recently in the last couple of... That's two things where a different decision, which you could quite easily have given. Like, the ref could have given that as a handball.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have been massively unfair on them if he had. And the linesman could have given that moment. So I think we were slightly on the end of a little bit of bad fortune in a couple of areas, but...
Yeah, fair dues.
Yeah.
But we lost concentration, didn't we?
After that, yeah.
After that, it was just disappointing that we weren't even busy appealing. We were so close to getting to half-time.
Yeah.
And then a cross over the top, and Sweeney's man lost him, or Sweeney lost his man, or whatever.
Yeah, header at the back post.
Header at the back post. And it come a very long way. Like,
again,
that's the disappointing thing.
Possibly Ward could have done better on that one, but then, there's all the... He's gone in. He's not even expecting to play this game.
The wind's insane.
The sun's in his eyes. I'm not placing like any real blame on him. But
no, I feel like we as a team lost concentration at that point. Very frustrating. So we went into half time 2-1.
Yeah.
They're weird mascots like milking it.
It's that's a strange situation. Does Grecian the Lion and the other one, female Grecian the Lion, I can't remember what they called her.
Lexi. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so.
I still think Nikki Raw was a better one.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know if they do it, but like they're Rockin Robin, is it called?
Rockin Robin, yeah, sure.
He's like walking over and like applauding the away fans.
Is he mocking us?
I don't know.
Can't tell.
Well,
no
I don't
facial
know
expressions to go on.
No, exactly. Who knows? Maybe it's like they think, oh no, there's kids over there and they might like it. Maybe, I don't know. But that's why I was asking where our ones do that to the away. Do they do that to the away fans? Go over and give him a clap?
Don't know. It looks like the kids that I saw were giving him 2 out of 5 for his performance.
Right, yeah.
1s and 2s. So,
anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. It's funny, isn't it? Of course, it's massive. I was struck by, obviously, I've been an Exeter City supporter a very long time. I've been to bigger grounds, but it's been a long time, especially to watch games when City aren't playing. But even with City playing, it's been ages. Apart from Wembley, I can't think the last big ground I went to watch them. I haven't been to Home Park in years. I know it's not as big as Swindon. It's a totally different thing, isn't it?
Mate, you're a plastic.
Well, honestly, I couldn't tell you. Like, who was the? I never went to Ellen Road. I never went to Bramall Lane to see City.
No, I tell you what, I could like do a whole another episode on how much I liked Twindon's ground.
But it's just such a different thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very different, and I suppose that's because we're not used to being in the kind of seated bit.
No.
We're used to being in the end. Maybe if we were because we were in the Arkell stand, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
So maybe if we were in the other bit, that bit's it's open. Actually, no, the Big Bank's got a roof these days, hasn't it?
It just all felt
Has done
like...
for quite some time.
It just made me think like, yeah, this was a Premier League club. This is a championship.
It reminded me of old-fashioned Premier League.
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
It reminded me of like I was sort of picturing, Cantona playing there and stuff in like
absolutely,
'94 or something, or '93
yeah.
was that they were there, and it reminded me of that kind of Premiership years, like like Ewood Park, and it's not quite as big as that, but those sort of style, sort of 18th century stadiums, basically, aren't they? But that were redone, that basically redone in the 70s, and then haven't changed since.
No.
So, and it's great. I loved it. That was the best thing for me apart from Randall Williams' backflip. The second best thing, there's a secret third option, but I'll come on to later. But it was the ground. I loved it. It's brilliant.
But it is a long way from... Like, they stand out in League Two, don't they, as that arrangement. Them and Bradford.
It's having massive stadiums.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Port Vale too.
Oh, Port Vale, of course.
Yeah. There's plenty in there.
Wembley of the North.
It's just because of the way it goes.
Well, I don't go anywhere. If I'm honest, I don't go anywhere.
No.
So it's all a surprise to me.
Anyway,
Anywho,
that's half time.
Half-time, Taylor... Oh, before that, of course, Jake Taylor went off injured, which I think played quite a part.
Yeah.
Was
yeah,
that before
definitely.
they even scored?
It
wasn't
was. It was 10 minutes in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Replaced by Archie Collins. Collins didn't have his best game, did he?
No, again, that's really hard, isn't it? You haven't warmed up. Or
Well, he
you've
has
done a
warmed
certain
up.
kind of warm-up.
Yeah, you're not expecting to come on and play, are you? But still, he's been good for us this season, Collins, and and we've played against a lot of good teams, and I thought this was a particularly off day for him. And yeah, we would have missed Taylor, and he provides that kind of energy, doesn't he? And that kind of aggression in the middle, which we maybe could have done with. I think which Collins isn't quite as aggressive. He isn't quite as energetic.
No.
And so that's a shame. Hopefully that's not too bad. You imagine that maybe he might miss Saturday, but we'll come on to that.
Do we know what's wrong with Jake Taylor?
No, I don't know actually.
He got clattered, didn't he, in a tackle?
So, yeah.
So hopefully it's just kind of bruising. And so that's half time. Matt Taylor was raging about Jake Taylor not being able to make the sub.
Yeah.
Really cross.
Yeah, he was, wasn't he?
And cross about other things later on as well.
Yeah, fair enough. It must have been a really frustrating day. It was frustrating for us, wasn't it? So imagine how he feels.
So that's half time. Then second half, obviously we've got the wind with us, the sun's behind us, and we started the second half really, lively.
Yeah, we did better generally in the second half,
Yeah.
as you'd kind of expect, because it is easier on the one hand playing with the wind, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I say that because it's actually harder to control. You've still got to kind of adjust when you're playing balls forward, because they can just it's easier to overhit, isn't it? Which did happen to us a few times, but
We just didn't carve out the chances, Dan, did we?
not really. I think
They
were really hard to break down because they're a good side, and they're not just a good attacking side; they're a good defensive side as well. And
I thought we might have had not that we didn't have a go second half. Like the energy was there, the possession was there, the intensity of attacking was there. Like lots of crossovers on the wings.
Yep.
Lots of attempts at balls in, some corners won, etc.
I think it's safe to say we didn't make the most of those corners.
No, we really didn't.
There was two that didn't beat the first man.
There was one that landed on the roof of the
One
net.
that landed on the roof of the net, and one other, perhaps, I think.
I thought the roof of the net one was the more like what we should have been aiming for. But we didn't have any distance shots. We didn't really have any... as we know from home matches, we can control it on the edge of the box quite well. But if we don't see the chances, we don't necessarily go for it.
Yeah.
Dickinson came on and looked energetic.
Yeah, I like the look of him. I think we've only seen glimpses, really, so far of what he can be like. But he looks strong, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. He's big, isn't he?
Yeah, I think the things that in the first two matches, the only things you could level against him are things which could totally be excused by he's not played very much. He's in a new team, so you've got to think, okay, that'll be they'll be fine, and the good things really shine through. And I'm definitely optimistic about him becoming a really important player for us, and I think he's got to be in there Saturday from the start.
Yeah,
I really think. Obviously, we set up much more defensively, which is totally understandably. It was like understandable. It was more of a kind of 4-4-2 to begin with, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because you're playing against this like the free scoring Swindon, and away, they're top of the league. It makes sense, and a draw would have done us very nicely.
Yeah.
But I think we should probably be going back to the previous system, which is more of a kind of the three at the back kind of thing with the wing backs, and I'd like to see Dickinson kind of start in that position and get a few run of games playing there, because I think he'd be really good there. He looks a good tackler, likes to get forward, can put a ball in.
Yeah.
But he came on and it kind of switched to more of a kind of 4-3-3, didn't it? So he was playing further up, with Moxie at left back behind him. So
Moxie and him look good together, actually.
There was one point where you can see it in the highlights where, I mean, Dickinson gets the ball in the end anyway, but Moxie's sort of going for the overlap, and it's just taking an eternity. He doesn't even I don't think he ends up getting past him. But whatever, that's not what he's there for.
Tom Parks had a bit of a off day.
Yeah.
Maybe second in a row even.
Yeah, it looks like maybe just lost a little bit of confidence there, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Which is a shame. But we do have options in that position, don't we?
We do, yeah.
Now, if Moxie's fit again.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So we couldn't really make anything happen, could we?
No, and then we even saw Jose at his old club.
Yeah. Now, if it was up to me, which it isn't, obviously, but I would have had him on. I'd have had him on a bit earlier, Jose.
I mean, those were quicker changes than we've seen from Taylor in recent weeks, but I think you're right. I think he would have done well to give him half an hour.
Yeah. I think I'd have gone with... I mean, obviously, we wanted to bring Dickinson on to change the formation a bit. I think he wanted to kind of... It looked like he wanted to attack more, but without losing that defensive solidity.
Yeah.
But I think, I don't know, maybe it would have been worth gambling and going... right from the off in the second half, maybe, who knows? You're already behind, so you might as well you kind of think like that you maybe should just go for it. And I just want to see a Jose in there more. He's got to get minutes because he's shown, since he's come back, he's shown when he's on the pitch, he'll score goals,
Yeah. We've seen again as well the J question mark, because that was a game again that Matt J, he's got our best chance of scoring from distance, but he's
the best corner taker in the team. Arguably, maybe Sparks, but he's obviously not an option. I don't know. I think I can see more in that game why he didn't play Matt J for the physicality and
Yeah, I can see that, but the question's still there, isn't it? And of course, there was a free kick as well that Dickinson took that was hopeless.
Yeah, I mean, went over the top, didn't it? But again, you can see him. Footage of him scoring free kicks, so we know absolutely. He's capable of it. And we're not exactly, we don't really have anyone else who's got any sort of record of scoring free kicks.
It's not a criticism of Dickinson taking the free kick, just that you kind of noticed the J question again, don't you?
Well, there's a bit more of a right-footed angle for me, if you well that free kick. You're better off with the right footer on that. But Law does, Law's taken many, but I don't think he scored any.
I can't think of any that he scored. So that was... that pretty much.
Well, yeah, almost. There was a big chance, wasn't there, for Bowman?
Oh, there was.
Yeah. It's the second of those, and I can't remember what it was. Maybe it's the Port Vale game where he had,
yeah, it was, yeah.
Where he had a...
Similar.
Or wasn't it the last... Wasn't it Colchester? Where he was through and kind of had a chance to lob the keeper. It was Colchester, and he just the accuracy wasn't there. The chance was there for him, and it's a difficult one. It's hard to, and especially when you got wind behind you, and it's a hard kind of thing to get right. A lot when you threw on goal like that. But I don't know. That was such a big chance, and when it's like a question of getting the equaliser against the team that are above you in the league to keep you up there, and those are big moments. And if he had, if he had just got that, we would have been lucky to get a draw there. Everyone would be admitting that we got lucky if we had, because they were the better team. But we did have that chance, and the goal was there for him, and all he's got to do is hit the target.
Yeah.
It does just come down to that, a kind of like technique and composure thing, and
He was way off, wasn't he?
way off. Yeah. He again didn't have his best game. Obviously, didn't have the best service. So I'm not being too harsh on him, but he's in a little bit of a slump, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He is.
Which is again a little unfair on him because he had a perfectly good goal in the net.
Yeah. It wouldn't seem like so much of a slump, would it?
Yeah.
He didn't. In no way did he stamp his authority on that game.
No.
In no way.
And it does highlight, doesn't it? Especially when you're playing a team like Swindon who've got these really good, and now they've got a wealth of them really, and there's all sorts of different reasons why they've got a stronger team than us. Like financial reasons, etc.
Yeah.
Size of club, size of the city they're in, town they're in, whatever. Location, of course. But if you're going to win a league, then it really helps to have some kind of informed strikers or some strikers who you can rely on to take the chances when they've got them, and they've got that. Swindon have that in those two at least, and I don't think that we have. I mean, I think Jose, I'm so encouraged by his movement and stuff, and like him, the 2 goals he scored recently, popping up at the back post. There was a couple of times when, had he been on, perhaps he would have been in those positions, and he likes to pull away from his. You can just watch him, and when he's waiting for corners or deliveries, and he's trying to pull away from his defender and find those little tiny bits of space, and which is why I think he needs more run in the team, because that's what we need. We need to get those goals.
Indeed so. So that drops us down into 4th place, disappointingly. I mean, not unsurprisingly, we knew it was going to be a difficult game. Obviously, the other teams are right behind us. So that puts Argyle into 2nd, Swindon to stay top. Argyle 2nd, Crewe 3rd.
Yeah, they both won, didn't they?
They both won, and we now sit in 4th. Now, some other results kind of went our way, but they'd already gone our way when we lost to Port Vale. So it was kind of inevitable that if we didn't get a win, those other teams would pick up some points.
Yeah. And
they have done. We sit in 4th, which means that we have to ask the difficult questions about where we might end up this year. So there's more of that in a minute. So Exeter City sit in 4th in League 2. Swindon stay top, 31 played, 59 points. Crewe 2nd, 30 played, 55 points. Argyle 3rd, 29 played, 54 points. So if Argyle win their games in hand, they go top.
Yep.
Then we sit in 4th, 30 games played, 54 points. 5th, Northampton, 30 games played, 52 points. 6th, Colchester, 31 played, 49 points. 7th, Cheltenham, 29 played, 48 points. So if Cheltenham won their game in hand, they go up to 6th. But apart from that, we're 2 points clear in 4th.
Yeah, that's tight, isn't it?
It's really tight. Now, I kind of said it last week and I'm regretting it now, but obviously Argyle have now overtaken us. In a sense, what that tells us is that we're playing for 3rd place, right? So,
well, yeah, maybe.
I mean, anything can happen, can't it? But Swindon, based on what I saw on Saturday, and Argyle, based on the fact that their poor form ended when we beat them in October, suggests to me, and given the size of those clubs,
of course. But the other thing we do know is that they are capable of poor form.
Yeah.
So there's a long way to go. You're probably right, but
there's a long way to go.
There's a long way to go.
So, So 46 games in the season, so we've got 16 left, of course. The fixtures for us now, however, look a bit friendlier.
Well, the next 3 definitely. Oh.
That was me cheering.
What was that?
That was me clicking onto the fixture list. So on Saturday, we've got Stevenage at home. Now, we just played them in the leasing.com.
Yeah, and they're awful.
I mean, they're awful.
They lost on Saturday as well, didn't they? And yeah.
Burger King don't like their reputation for slovenly overeaters to be tarnished by sponsoring Stevenage. Then we've got Oldham the following Tuesday, the 11th. and then we go away to Macclesfield on the 15th. So just to give you the league tables of those three, Stevenage sit bottom, Macclesfield sit on 22nd, and then Oldham are in the lofty heights of 14th. They've picked up a bit, but they've had a bad old do.
Yeah, and they're coming, and that's a home game as well. So, and we're solid at home, aren't we? At the moment, we've got to pick up if we want to, because of how it is.
Yeah,
like we've just gone through the points there of all the teams in the top 7, and it's really tight. And a lot of teams are coming into some really good form. Colchester, Port Vale, Argyle, all these teams are have really picked up recently, and we've seen that kind of gap that we had narrowed a bit, haven't we? You know,
absolutely.
So we've got 2 home games and then an away game against a team right down the bottom. If we get 9 points from them, I consider that to be we're back on well back on track, and we can still be taken seriously as automatic contenders.
Yep.
If we don't, you're starting to run out of games and you're starting to lose momentum at a important point, and you got to think that those other teams are going to capitalize on that. So it's a big 3, and it's a big 3 games. Absolute
big 3. So Stevenage, like we said, we beat them 3-0 with our reserve team basically, and they brought their first team.
Yeah.
So one would hope that we can give them, we can find some kind of form. They, of course, have got maybe the most disliked manager in the Football League, Graham Wesley.
Yep.
As their manager. Mark Sampson was their previous manager, who previously managed England women. I'm only smirking because, of course, he turned out he'd been snogging underage girls who were playing with him. Maybe they weren't underage. Maybe that's blasphemous. No, what's the other word? Libelous.
Right.
But anyway,
he's not God.
He's not God.
If he was God, that would be blasphemous.
Yeah, God. We don't know what God's done, but
or what he looks like.
But Samson, not from the Bible, Mark Sampson, sacked for a number of reasons. Best of all, that Stevenage are rubbish.
Yeah.
Graham Wesley's come in.
Stevenage are rubbish. It's a rubbish place.
The best thing to come out of Stevenage, the obvious joke is that whatever the motorway is, but is Lewis Hamilton, of course.
Is that where he's from?
That's where he's from. But Wesley,
I mean, he's a prat as well, isn't he?
He is really.
And fair enough, he's good at driving a car, but he's a prat.
Do you know how many teams Graham Wesley played for? They describe it as a short playing career.
Yeah.
He played for the following teams: Gillingham, Barnet, Wickham, Kingstonian, Wealdstone, Farnborough, Harlow, Enfield, Aylesbury, Harrow, Tooting and Mitcham, Moseley, and Walton and Hersham.
Okay.
That's ridiculous.
What I'm taking from that is he's a dick and no one wants him in their team.
I have no idea. He then went and managed Kingstonian, Harrow, Enfield, Farnborough, Stevenage, he's been there before, Rushton and Diamonds, Kettering, Stevenage. This is his 3rd time at Stevenage.
Oh, cool.
What you need to know is we got to beat them. We absolutely have to.
Yes.
Jose needs a hat-trick. Bowman needs a couple. We just need this to be absolute confidence-building bonanza.
Yeah.
We're 2-0 up after 10 minutes. Taylor's doing a dance on the sideline. They get that ice bucket that he used to sit on and they've emptied it over his head. Everyone's delighted.
Yeah. Jose's got a start, hasn't he?
I would think, given what he did against him in that trophy, blah, 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 blah.
The thing is, everything's set up for us to be going into a good bit of form. It's a shame that those last 2 results, because, all these players are back from injury now. You got Atton Garner's just kind of broken through as emerging as kind of one of our best players, and all of a sudden it looks a lot worse without him. We need him in there.
Yeah.
Jose's back and getting on the score sheet. We've signed Dickinson. He looks good. That solves a kind of left-sided problem. So all these things are going for us. So it's all in place, isn't it?
It is.
We've got a good run of games. So it's as good. This is basically as good as it gets.
Indeed. So, I'm actually wrong. Graham Wesley's been manager of Stevenage 4 times.
Okay.
You're absolutely right. And then we welcome Oldham to St James Park Tuesday night.
Yep.
You know who's managing them now?
Graham, what was that guy? I don't know.
Mamria, who was previously at Stevenage, who made such a mess of it.
Oh, yeah.
And he was previously Graham Wesley's assistant. So, what an absolute collection we've got there.
Yeah.
Oldham have got, they're in better form than Stevenage and Macclesfield. And then we've got Macclesfield away. So, that's the kind of thing we just got to get stuck in here. We really need, we haven't had it much, have we, since Argyle, really. We needed a goal fest.
Yeah.
You know, we need the kind of performance we had against Forest Green on New Year's Day without anyone getting sent off. Just like first half, got it all together. We're freely scoring. We're loving life.
Yeah, because if we can't do it in this under these circumstances, then not that we can forget it. I'm going to try to resist being as reactionary as maybe we have been in the past. But we have just lost 2 big games, haven't we? Yeah. And now we've got some ones that we should win. So let's get down there and get behind the lads. Come on.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, it's just... I mean, we keep saying it, but you're right. We run out of games soon.
Yeah, it's a long way to go, but there's not that many. This is after...
We'll be into single figures at the end of this month, won't we, of games left?
Yeah.
Or something like that. So, yeah. The other thing to say, I think we didn't say this last time, is that we've drawn Portsmouth in the Cup. Did we mention this last time?
Don't call it the Cup.
That thing.
That gives it much more gravitas than it deserves.
Okay. Well, we got them.
Yeah, we have talked about this.
Have we?
Yeah.
Well, they're in form, aren't they? So that'll be interesting. And maybe what we haven't talked about is that they've been drawn in the FA Cup against Arsenal.
We literally talked about this on the last podcast.
Oh, it's good I listened to it and take notes,
Yeah.
isn't it? Well, there we are. There's nothing else to say about that, about our future. But that's the current situation at Exeter City FC, St James Park.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say about your trip to Swindon?
Well, there was one thing.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
What?
So we got there.
Yeah.
Parking up.
Yeah. I'm driving.
You're driving.
We go to one of these car parks where you pay. You park in a school
Yep.
playing field.
Pull up to the man.
Nice man.
Hand over your $5.
Yeah. Oh, no, I handed over more, so he gave me his change.
Gives you a change.
And I wanted to say, thank you very much, mate.
Yep. What did you actually say?
I said, thank you very mate. Yeah, not my finest
Thanks
hour.
very mate. I love it. That was the third thing I was talking about when I said those are the 3 good things from the game.
I think I cursed
Randall
it.
Williams' backflip in front of the Swindon fans. Can't remember what the second one was.
You loved the ground.
Lovely old ground.
Yeah.
And you saying thanks very mate.
Thank you very mate. I think I blew it. I think the day was destined to be a failure from then on.
Maybe. Yeah, don't be too hard on yourself.
It was going well when I had my vegan Subway.
There was another bit, and I apologise if you're a listener of this podcast, but there's a little bit of kind of, the classic kind of shouting over the barrier. Blokes sort of trying to get at each other,
Bit of argy-bargy.
Bit of argy-bargy between the kind of the fans, our fans and their fans that were kind of just over the barrier bit.
Of a certain age of life. I'd say.
Mostly, yeah. But I liked it that the one guy in particular had to get from where he was sitting past quite a few City fans to get to the trouble.
Yeah.
And also, so he's shouting, I'm gonna get you, or words to that effect. But then in between that, while he's trying to get over there, he has to be very polite to his own fans. So he's like, "Oh, excuse me. Oh, thanks. Oh, sorry." To get across as they all move out of the way, and then goes, and then so again.
Yeah, it was good.
It was just funny.
It was funny.
But there's nothing funny about violence.
Well, I didn't see any violence. I just saw a lot of shouting. Also, the Swindon ball boys were spectacular in their
is that worth a
delegation of duty?
minute or two?
Dereliction of duty.
The ref had a word, didn't he, with
He did.
somebody
What are
about
you going to
that.
do? I mean, just add it on, ref. I thought the ref was disappointing. I thought there were lots of opportunities for him to, not just that, deal with all sorts of time wasting that was going on.
Well, we say this all the time, don't we? I mean, the referee. It seems to me that there's more they could do about time wasting, but yet they don't. So I don't know.
I mean, you don't want it to come to this.
But come on, it's just it's no. It doesn't tarnish it a bit that you've won the game not due to the ball boys kind of like not giving the ball back quickly. That isn't why you won the game. You won the game because you were the better team on the day.
Yeah.
You don't need that. You don't need to have your little snivelly little freakish ball boys like acting like that. You know, it just looks bad. I think
We've got no proof that they are snivelling or
I'm not
freakish.
saying that we don't do it. Maybe we do. Maybe our ball boys are just as bad. But I don't know. Maybe I've not noticed it being that bad.
I don't think it's...
I just think it's like, I think they see these ball boys assisting, that Mourinho, and then Mourinho giving them a hug, and they get that in their head that they can kind of influence the game.
Yeah.
And
That's not what you're there for.
it's not what you're there for. Just give the ball back.
You don't want it to come to this. So with the old VAR discussion, which I agree with you has ruined things, but we all agree, I think, that goal line technology makes perfect sense, right?
Yeah.
Like, great. Like, you can just say for facts if it's over the line or not.
Yeah.
You don't want it to come to this, but you might have to start getting to a point where you just have a clock on, like, the keeper kicking it or whatever. Because, like, it's just nuts how long you can take to move the ball, drop the ball, lie on the ball. A minute passes.
Yeah.
And
I
nothing
mean,
happens.
is it not part of the game?
Yeah, but it's just ridiculous.
I guess it does get to a point, and I think it's the referee's job then to and you not going to get rid of time wasting, and I do think that time wasting in kind of game management, which is what they call it, is part of the game, and when we do it, I like it, but I don't
think that was spectacular.
I don't like it when teams go over the top with it, and I think probably. I don't think I'm being overly biased to suggest that we're not one of those teams who do that much. I'm not saying we don't time waste and stuff, but we don't do it to, a ridiculous level. And some teams do, but I think it's on the refs to sort that out. Just all you got to do is just like when it starts happening early on, book someone early on, just set that precedent. And then it won't be. It will still carry on, but it won't be as bad after that.
Oh, absolutely. I agree.
And if you're a club, tell your ball boys to do their job properly or sack them.
Well, I also
and that's going to go on your permanent record. And how old are you? Like 7? That's going to go down. You got
they
sacked.
Were not 7.
You got
Those
sacked.
Swindon
Day 7.
ball boys
well,
were not 7.
There was one who looked about 25,
yes.
and I don't know what he was doing.
No.
He also came and applauded the City fans. I think just winding them up.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the game, because I was thinking, who's that? Because he looked way too big to be a ball boy. He's about 40.
Yeah, indeed. So that was our trip.
So he needs to have a look at himself.
Have a look at yourself, mate.
And
He's happy, they're top of the league.
And Swindon Town need to have a look at him. And I don't think it's unfair to say that he should be sacked.
On that note, this has been the Big Bang Theory podcast. Don't forget you can leave us a review on iTunes or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And you can get in touch with us in all the normal places. We're on Twitter @BigBankPod. We're on the email bigbankpod@gmail.com, and we're on Facebook as the Big Bang Theory podcast. It's been a good time listening to you talk, Dan. Hope you've had a good time listening to us, listeners. My name's John. I've been here with my friend and colleague, Dan.
Thank you very much.
See you later.